didn't have any interest whatsoever in coming back to Bloomington. And then I got to thinking about it. And here's the conclusion that I came to. You folks here tonight from this area were tremendous assets to our basketball team and the way they played because of how hard you rooted for those players and how well you fans pitched in games when we were getting screwed by some dumb official. I taught you folks a lot about referees while I was here. But the more I thought about it, I thought, what a nice thing, what a great thing to do. And in doing that, I'm here just simply to say thank you to you and to fans like you that weren't able to come tonight for the support that all of you gave those kids that played while I was coaching here. You were a very, very big factor, you folks, in how well those kids played, because there's no place in America that kids were better treated by their fans than you folks. And I'm here tonight to say that. I forget who on guard, and I'm back here, and I see Walter looking the other direction with the ball over here. So I'm going to go steal the ball from Walter. I run up, jump behind Walter over his right shoulder. I grab the ball with both hands as hard as I can hold it. And from this position, with me on his back, let's say, and this is perfect right here. Let's say the edge over there, the dark edge is the baseline at the Indiana Fieldhouse, right over there in front of the first step over there. So here's Walter, here's me. Well, when Walter got done with me, I wound up out of bounds. If you want to talk about strong, he just went. I was too dumb to hang on. Whoosh! And I hit my ass about right here. I got shirt over there. What now? You know, Tom May breaks his arm. And we win. And we had played Illinois, and Jimmy Cruz had made 2 baskets right at the end of the first half that gave us the lead. And it was Illinois that we played. And Jimmy made these 2 baskets, and so we've got the lead, but now Scott's out of the game. In fact, that injury cost us the national championship, along with my stupidity, and I'll get to that in a minute. And so we go on, and these kids were playing Illinois, and I think in all of my coaching, if I had one game to bring back, this would be it, because we're talking about that undefeated team, and this kind of goes into, boy, maybe the best thing that I ever saw. So anyhow, what happens is we beat Illinois, and John Laskowski, who was a really good shooter coming off the bench, scored 24 points in that game. And we beat Illinois. And this is the worst mistake. I actually hate to ever admit a mistake, but I want to tell you about what happens. You know, sometimes it is the coach's fault, as it was in this game. And so I think we won 4 games. Is that about right? And so now we're playing Kentucky. I never thought, when I was born, I stopped not being a fan of Kentucky. As unique a thing in basketball history. We get beat by a point. I don't think had we won, we would have played the national game, but we'd have still been in.
Been about 4, yeah, played service.
So we'd have had to win 1 or 2 more games to win the championship. But what I did that was a huge mistake was, I'll talk about these kids individually as we move along here, but Buckner and Wilkerson were the best pair of guards playing defense that ever played basketball. We're playing, I'll get back to this in a minute because I don't want to forget this. We're playing up in Minnesota. They had a kid named, I think it was Robinson. If it doesn't,
Williams. Greg Williams.
Williams, okay, I'll take this word. Williams and Robinson sound a lot nice.
They're both really good baseball players.
So anyhow, it's halftime, and we're in the locker room. Now, there has never been a better player in Indiana, nor will there ever be a better player than Scott May. That just is what happens. This kid scored 22 points against May in the first half. We'll say this is our bench. And I walk over, and Scott's sitting there. Damn it, Scott! Robinson scored 22 points. What the hell's going on out there? Damn, Scott! What are we going to do, Scott? How the hell are we going to stop this? You know, I yell once in a while. When the hell are we going to stop it? And from way up in the back of this locker room, on kind of a bench back in there, a real squeaky voice pops up with, "When you put me on it." And I look up and it's Bobby Wilkerson. He plays best buddy. Bobby Wilkerson said, "When you put me on it." Right away I turned on Scott. I said, "Scott, now what the hell do you think about that?" Scott looked up at me and he said, "Coach, I think it's a damn good idea." You remember so many things about players, things like that. I will never, ever forget, "Coach, I think that's a damn good idea." And Scotty picked us up in the airport this morning, so we had a chance to drive back down with him. We had a lot of them, but there was none better as an example for kids than Scott May was. So, what do we got next?
Oh, I screw up.
She just said to me, "What the hell are you going to do?" Well, what is wrong with your Lord? And this is mine. Unfortunately, her husband passed away many years ago. His name was John Ryan. And he was the president at Indiana University at that time. And from then until this day, talking to you, Mrs. Ryan, I want you to know that of all the people that I met and what goes with college athletics and academics, one thing and another, my favorite person in all of college sport was your husband.
You had a job to do when you came in here, and there's a new guy coming into that now, Archie Miller from Dave. What do you know about him?
Well, you fans now, something I wanted to let you know, that I have a chance to tell you. You got a new coach coming in here, and I know a little bit about this coach. And more than that, another coach I called to talk about this young fellow coming in here to coach Indiana. And that guy was Don Donovan, who was a great coach at Dayton University. And this young fellow that's coming in here to coach the Indiana team is coming from Dayton University. And he comes from a really good basketball background. I knew a little bit about that. And I called Don Donovan to just see what he thought about this fellow who's going to be your next coach. And without any reservation, he said, I think that you and the people at Indiana will really like the way this coach goes about things. He's no nonsense, he's tough, he's smart, and he wants to win. So you folks give him a good introduction, and you get behind him, and I think he's going to enjoy a lot of good basketball. Score 3 points in possession. And in doing that, you end up having a lower shooting percentage, and you probably lose the ball on occasion, and you probably don't get back on defense real much. And that's why I mean, we had kids that could shoot threes. When I was at Texas Tech, we had a kid that was a really good free throw shooter. But and a couple of, when you brought up the story, and I appreciate you doing that. But that's a good question, and I thought I had an even better answer. People always ask me, you know, they say, Coach, who would like to know, let me see a hand, who would like to know who the best player is? Put your hand up if you want to know who the best player is. All right? There's a difference now. There's a best player, and there's a most valuable player. Now, am I going too fast?
Maybe me.
Well, I'm not fast for you. Hell, I just sounded too long. Best player, most valuable player. The most valuable player ever in basketball, and maybe in any sport, will take.
Bill Russell.
Good. I want to see if you were awake.
I'm awake.
By far, the most valuable player in the sport was Bill Russell. Now, the smartest coach ever was Red Auerbach. One of the joys of my life was that when I was just a young kid coaching at West Point, we were playing at Madison Square Garden. And I was going to a lot of tunnels back in Madison Square Garden. And I was there scouting, and I'd gone back to the John or something, and I was coming down the hallway, and the guy comes out of the corner, comes up to me, and I mean, all of a sudden, I said, gosh, that's Red Auerbach. He came right after me, put his hand on my shoulder. He said, son, he said, I like what you're doing. He said, my name's Red Auerbach. And I looked at him, I'm kind of shaky looking at Red Auerbach. And I said, well, Mr. Auerbach, and he said, did you hear me say my name's Red? I said, yes, sir, I won't forget again, sir. Well, that became a great, great relationship with me. He's one of my all-time favorites. Only Red could do this. I think you'll see me do it. Only Red, this is one of my favorite stories. Only Red could do this. Now, Red was Jewish. And he's the only guy in the world that could have done this that way. Steve Downing was drafted by the Boston Celtics. And this was long after I got to know Red. I got to know Red when I was at West Point. And Red was great to him. He brought me to his camp in the summers, and he asked me to check on kids in recruiting and one thing and another. Here's how Red got Bill Russell. The owner of the Celtics was a guy named Walter Brown. And he also owned Ice Capades. How many of you have seen Ice Capades? We're most of us have seen Ice Capades. Well, here's what Red did. He got Walter Brown to give the Syracuse Gnats. They were at that time, they were in the NBA. And when he got Walter Brown to give Syracuse 3 weeks of Ice Capades, the payback to the Celtics was their draft choice for that year. And that's where Red got Bill Russell. He traded ice skaters for Bill Russell. The most valuable player, I think, you know, Ruth would be close in any sport. Jimmy Brown would be close in football, but for my money, the most valuable player ever to play a team sport was Bill Russell. They won 12 national championships with Russell. And Red did the great thing, and made the coach speak. Said Russell close to the last couple of years, he played in the half. They won 2 more times. Now back to Steve, and my visit to Boston was taking Steve there to get a contract with the Celtics. Only Red could do this. I got off the track a little bit there. Only Red could do this. Steve and I were sitting. And I said, well, Red, I said, what kind of thing do you have set up for Steve? Red said, well, he said, Steve, you got to understand this now, Steve. I told you Red was good. And he said, Steve, you got to understand this. You know, Cam, he said, we got all the black players we need. He said, we need some white players. And he said, most of all, we need a good Jew. He said, we haven't had a Jew that can play in a long time. So you're not going to get what you might normally get. And Steve was one of the world's best people. Steve turned to him and he said, Coach, I'm not going to be greedy like this. That's how they signed that contract with Steve. So I think you can get a little idea. Red Auerbach is one of my all-time favorite people. He's one of the geniuses in basketball history. I thought you'd get a kick out of him.
Also drafted a guy named Landon Turner. Also drafted a guy named Landon Turner.
Yeah, and when how about this? When Landon Turner had that automobile accident, I'm sure you all remember that. That took away the final year of his basketball career. And he had been, I'll tell you this story. We're playing Northwestern. And we had teams of 4 players that could beat Northwestern from time to time. And in this particular game, I'd had about enough to land over the preceding games and hadn't played, 6 11, run like a kangaroo, jump like that, good hand, but he just didn't have that determination that a Scott May had or Buckner or any of those other kids. Just kind of, and so we're playing Northwestern at home, and it was monotony in that we were playing them at home because we had played them the previous week up at Northwestern. So we're playing them two consecutive games. That didn't happen very often. So I told Steve Downing, who was working with me, I said, I want you to get his parents, because we've got to get him out of here. We got to, we need that spot. And he's just been not playing at all. So I figured we let him play in the game against Northwestern at home. And oh gosh, I can just recreate that day. He gets in, a kid about 6'4", knocks him out of play and gets the rebound. This kid, Landon's about 11 feet tall, and this kid's about 6'4", and he knocks Landon like a puff all the way, gets the rebound. And I said, I've had enough. So I take him out of the game. And we're in the second half, and I said, well, fans are fans, people are family, people feel sorry when I get rid of Landon. And somebody makes some comment, some writer doesn't know the first thing about it. No, not him. And I said, I'll just let him play. And then I'll have a lot of background for why I cut him. He's got to go somewhere else. Well, I'd say, if I can remember, I don't remember everything real well, but I would say that the tournament probably played 7 minutes. That'd be something like that. He played 7 minutes as well as anybody I've ever seen. And I called him in with his parents. And I told his mom and dad I wanted to get rid of him. But I said, now I'm going to give him to his mom and dad, because I didn't give a damn about Landon. I said, now you are great parents and you're great people. And I'm going to give this lazy kid one more chance. And we went to Iowa to play. The next game was on our schedule was Iowa. And I played Landon in the game. And I have never seen a guy go from here to there like Landon Turner did between the Northwestern and the Iowa game. And from then on, during the rest of that year, he was without question the key player of the team. And then the next summer, never know why these things happen, but he got in an automobile accident over going to Cincinnati, and that ended his basketball career. And I think that he not had that accident, he was at a position where I really believe he was going to be the best player here. And I used to needle him a little bit, and was a wonderful, wonderful kid. And he would come in, and we had a little thing that he could scoot around on. Those things that he could, like wheelchair, he could scoot around practice. And I would always get on him a little bit. I'd say, well, Landon, damn it, are you going to play today? And he'd grin and say, I'm working on my thoughts now, though. We'd go back and forth with that. One of the kids, and the way he conducted himself, terrible injury, and nobody from then on ever got more pats on the back in practice, more encouragement than the kids that do Landon.
We mentioned Red Auerbach, and actually, Red did draft.
On Steve?
Yeah. No, on Landon.
Oh, yeah, Red did draft? No, that's the thing I wanted to tell you. He comes up with good ideas occasionally, and I now listen to him all the time. Well, this is Red Auerbach then. I called Red when Landon had that injury, and his basketball career is done. And when the NBA draft came up, the first player that the Boston Celtics took was Landon Turner. Let's give a little hand to Red Auerbach.
The best player and the most valuable player. You gave me your most valuable player. Who's your best player?
Our best player.
Not yours, but the one you think is the best.
No, it wasn't our best player. It was the best.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay. In my mind, as people as it is sometimes, the best player, thirdly, that I was ever around,
Michael Jordan. It was Michael Jordan. We got to see him right here. Michael Jordan, and he spent a whole summer here in Bloomington. Jordan.
I didn't. He's right. Michael Jordan. I've always said, and the reason I talked about Russell, the most valuable player, that's Russell. The Celtics won 11 world championships with Russell as the center. Most valuable player. Jordan, I think he's the best basketball player I ever saw. He was a great player, he was a great team player, he rebounded, he played defense, he scored. Well, we're playing Spain. And I think if I were to pick one thing out of my career in coaching, even though I was in the Army and I coached at West Point, I never got to do anything while I was in the Army to better the American dream. And yet here, I had a chance in the Olympics. That will always be my favorite goal in basketball, because that Olympic gold medal was for the United States. So it's the halftime. I may be off a little bit on numbers, but I don't think by much. I'm going to say at the half, we were like 20 points ahead.
At least.
At least that, yeah. Well, that's the worst time in the world for a coach. When you go in off the floor and you've got a big lead and you've got these young kids that think it's all over with. And now they're going to go out there and you're just going to have to fight like hell for things. So I'm going from our bench probably all the way to the end of where you folks can sit and get to the locker room. I always like to come up with ideas that make it better, or change that was more important to me. Well, I didn't want to get this screwed up. I didn't want to come out here and have to call timeout and give everybody help for how sloppy they were playing or whatever. And so I had a brilliant idea. I walked into these kids, they're all the whole 12-man squad of our Olympic team is there. And I walked in and I got right in front of Jordan. Figured that this is going to get everybody's attention. Mike's sitting there, and I said, "Now, Mike, damn it, you know a big part of our offense is screening. God damn it, all you're doing out there is scoring and rebounding, playing defense." I said, "But you're not screening. You've got to screen to make our offense go, damn it, now." And moment of pause. Michael looked up at me and said, "Oh, I think you said faster than you can see them." The number one point in coaching is don't ever lose to the players. Don't ever. that team, 2 other kids, really good kids, are there, and they're laughing like hell. They're all laughing when Jordan said that to me. So I go to these 2, and I said, yeah. I said, you two son of bitches thought that was really good. He really enjoyed that. Well, now here's how we're going to play the second half. If Jordan doesn't set a screen, I'm taking you 2 out of the game. That got your attention. That's all I can do. So I said, now I get everybody back together. This is one of the highlights of my career. I get everybody back together, and I say, okay, I want this game over with, completely over with at least 5 minutes left on the clock. I want this game to have absolutely no chance in any way to beat us in the last 5 minutes of this game. Start the game, we're playing. We get down toward the end of the game. And for some reason, and I've kind of forgotten a little bit, and for some reason, Michael was our captain, and I see Michael calling a timeout. And I said, I want this game over with. There's 5 minutes left in the game, I want it over. But what the hell is Jordan doing? He calls a timeout. Everybody sits down, and Michael goes, "Oh, here." I go over, and I said, "What the hell is Michael?" He says, "This is even better than the other." He says, "Coach, if you'll take a look at the scoreboard, 4 minutes ahead of schedule." You gotta love a kid like that.
All these people in this audience, and all the people in the state of Indiana, for your contributions